welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Sunday morning. Please stand and sing with us if you're willing and able. The lyrics are on the little screen over here.
I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. Yet forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. I'm going deep to know the divine. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. Yet forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. I'm rising up to know the divine. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. Yet forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul.
That was wonderful. You guys sound so good this morning. Thank you for being here. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, please let us know from where you are watching. Put it in the comment section and subscribe, and share. Helps others find us. Thank you so much. All right, let's do this next one. God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God, your mind is divine in the garden of your soul. Plant love, faith, and happiness, and witness what unfolds from the beauty of creation. Reflected in your eyes, you see heaven right here on earth, and you live in paradise. And God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God, omnipresence manifesting cosmic unity, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and everything in between. Omni-intelligence orchestrating relativity. The power of creation is its gift to you and me. And God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God is all there is. God is all there is in the beginning. God.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to those tuning in online, and welcome to those that are here in our amazing outdoor sanctuary. It is a beautiful day here in the Portland area. So my name is Reverend Masando. Brian Harris, let's keep it going for Brian Harris here. He is our music director, and today he is our featured soloist and artist, so excited to have him here with us. So this is the time in our service where we acknowledge that we are on the ancestral land of the Kalapuya people. We affirm Indigenous history, experiences, and sovereignty. So we're going to be saying bye to the teens and teen advisors right now. Thank you all so much for doing your work. I think if they're not up here, they're often hanging out in the back. And if you are new here, please know that we are an inclusive, progressive, and compassionate community that is dedicated to spirit-led social action and helping to make the world a better place. Please know that all people, all faith paths are welcome here, and we have thoughtfully and mindfully created a place just for you, exactly as you are today. So with that, invite everyone here, whether you're in this beautiful outdoor sanctuary or tuning in with us online, to take a deep breath and just relax into this space as we invite practitioner Shelly up for our opening blessing.
Thank you, Reverend Masando. Thank you so much. Please join me as we anchor our time together in prayer. With this next breath, allowing yourself to settle in time and space, to settle in your body, and to settle into this great and cosmic truth that there is one love everywhere present. There is a peace that passes all understanding. There is a grace. This grace that is everywhere present, indwelling us and everything. This thing that I call love, that goes by many names. Spirit, Source, God, all of it is love expressing as us. And so in this place of grace, I speak a word of blessing on our time together. How very, very good it is to be in community this day, to take a pause in this human life and remember the divine, to remember the divine truth of ourselves and each other, to remember that there is an infinite power everywhere present, with us, for us. And so I'm grateful for this community that gives us this opportunity this day. And I'm grateful for the love that makes it all possible. And so with this next breath, we simply allow it to be. We let it be. And so it is. And I invite you to stay in that beautiful, grounded place as we have a time of meditation together. Rev Masando?
Yes. So I invite us all, to continue to stay in this sacred space for our spiritual practice today, for our meditation together. I'm going to invite us to utilize the instrument that we have all been born with, our voice. Realizing that we are these places of vibration, vibrational energy, and our voice and the expression that we carry in the world through utilizing our voice is something that is deeply sacred. And so as we chant here today, we're going to be chanting this sacred sound of Om. When I was taking Sanskrit when I was in college, it was taught that this sacred sound, it's over 5,000 years old. It comes out of the Indus Valley in the Hindu tradition, and it is said to be the sound of the universe itself, that everything, all of creation can be heard and felt in this sound. And so as we sing and we chant this sound together, we pay homage to the great tradition of Hinduism and this religious tradition that comes out of the Indus Valley region of India, and we recognize the richness of that culture and that tradition. And we humbly come into chanting this sacred sound that comes from that part of the world, as we feel the ways in which this sacred sound can start right at the core of our being, right there, right behind our belly button, this place where all of creation begins. And as we breathe out and we allow this sound to go through our breath, we feel the sound raise up through our heart and up out the top of our heads. This is the movement of creation itself, that we are beings of creation as well. We are not separate. And so we just allow this resonance to bring us more deeply into the resonance of the universe itself, of the divine within, as we simply allow ourselves to be this conduit, to be this place, to be this vessel for this divine vibration of the universe itself. So we just allow that vibrational energy to clear away, to soften over any edges we may still be experiencing. We come into a deeper resonance with this sacred sound. Allow it to be a healing presence within us, a cleansing presence within us, so that we can attune more deeply to the ways in which this still small voice, the ways in which this sacred energy is deeply a part of who we are. We come into resonance and alignment with that as we chant this sacred sound a few more times together. So it is. Thank you all. so good to be singing together a little bit. And I can feel y'all online as well. It's wonderful to take part in this spiritual practice together every week. So I want to bring back up our featured artist for the week, Brian Harris.
Thank you, Miss Sanda. There's one power invisible, and you speak of it with every word you say. One power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. It's mysterious until you know the truth. It's as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, and call it Spirit, and call it Jesus, call it Lord, and call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, and different clothing, and different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, and call it Buddha, and Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness, the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunlight on your face. It's the birthright of all nations, the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger you abandon for the love that's most deep. It's one power,
one power,
yeah.
one power.
Oh, it's the power of the love that shines forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
One power, one power.
Thank you very much.
Brian Harris, the New Thought Messengers. My God, that's your arrangement of that song, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. So, so good. Whew, okay. Thank you so much. Man, we're blessed around here. Hey, y'all. I'm practitioner Shelly Walker, and it is such a joy to be with you today. Reverend Shannon sends her big, big love to you today. And boy, we have some big things to talk about today. You know, I was meditating a couple of weeks ago, and Spirit says to me, does Spirit talk to you sometimes? You hear it like in a different part of your brain from where you hear regular words? Oh, just me. Okay. So I'm meditating the other day, and Spirit says, hey, Shelly, you know you have that talk in a couple of weeks. I said, yes. And Spirit says, you're going to change your talk title. And I say, oh, what are we doing, God? And Spirit says, you're going to talk about money. And I said, oh, I love talking about money. Let's talk about money. And Spirit says, wait, that's not it. You're going to talk about power. And I said, ooh, now we're getting somewhere. And Spirit says, and you're going to talk about sex. And I said, excuse me. Y'all, I grew up in the South. There are two things you do not talk about in public, especially at church. And those two things are money and sex. Are you kidding me? I said, God, I don't think so. And God said, yes, here we go. And I said, you know, my 17-year-old is sitting on the front row, and my 2 adult children are right here. And God says, let's go. So we're going to do this, y'all. So here's my invitation for us today. We have some big concepts that we're going to cover today, things that mess with our concepts of who we know ourselves to be and what safety is and all of those things. And so here's my invitation, is that if you hear something that you feel challenged by, I invite you to stay in that place for a while. Ask yourself, stay curious. Ask yourself, why am I challenged by this idea? Could it be true? If it is true, what would that mean, right? So I invite us all to stay curious as we take this little journey together today. Spirit had quite a ride in store for us today. You ready? Let's jump in. Money, sex, and power. Whew. So those of you who have taken financial freedom class learned that the highest purpose of money is love. Very good. The highest purpose of money is love. The reason that the highest purpose of money is love is because money serves to keep us engaged with each other. If it weren't for money, how many of us would be living on a cage in a mountain? Cage? No. A cave in a mountain or in a little cove at the coast all by ourselves, maybe with 1 or 2 other people doing our own thing. Money serves to keep us engaged with each other so we can grow, so we can come to know more, understand more, live more about love. So you could say that the highest purpose of sex is love. So does that mean that the highest purpose of power is love? We're going to talk about this. These 3 concepts, money, sex, and power, are all inextricably intertwined with each other and with our self-esteem. How we feel about ourselves directly impacts how we do sexual relationships and how we do our relationship with money. How we feel about ourselves directly impacts how we deal with those that we perceive to have more power than us or less power than us. Our self-esteem is inextricably intertwined with all of this. Money, sex, power, self-esteem, self-worth, safety. It all has a home in our bodies, in our first and second chakra. That's why we did this beautiful Om meditation today. Thank you, Brian Harris. To ground ourselves in our bodies. Because, Lord, what kind of witch's brew is that? Like just sitting there in our gut, right? These big, big concepts. It's messy. It's intertwined. It's big. And it's holy. All of it. Money is holy. Sex is holy. Power is holy. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about the word power. The word power comes from the Latin and Old French roots, meaning to be able. When we are empowered, we are able to do something. When we feel powerless, we don't feel that we can affect change. We don't feel able to do something. So power has a deep root in the word able. Do you know what the definition of able is? Having sufficient means. Having the resources to do something. Resources like money. So this idea of sufficiency is intimately tied up in the concepts of both power and money. Sufficiency. A little while ago, I decided to take a journey for myself about this concept of sufficiency. I didn't tell any of y'all about it. I didn't even tell my husband. This is the first he's hearing this. I personally decided to do some work with this concept of enough, sufficiency. What would it look like to not just have enough, but to deeply embody and experience the concept of enough? What does it mean to have the experience of enough money, enough love, enough food, enough time, just enough? What would that look like for me? It's been an interesting experiment because on the one hand, exploring the concept of enough food has taken me on a really beautiful journey with my body that has brought me to a beautiful place of trust in myself. You know, exploring this idea of enough money has brought me into a beautiful place of trust in my husband, in our business, in spirit, working as our business. It's been really beautiful. On the other hand, there's some things I've had enough of. I have had enough, for example, of people politicizing public health. I've had enough of racism and intolerance. Enough. I've had enough. I have nothing left to give for people who promote hate, whether it's consciously or through ignorance. I've had enough. So this journey of enoughness has taken me to places I didn't expect it to. It's been really interesting. Fascinatingly, the word enough, did you know I took like 12 years of Latin? I love this stuff. This is the last one I'm going to do today, though, I promise. The word enough comes from a combination of two words that means to attain together. Enough means to attain together. So even the concept of enough isn't something that happens in a vacuum. It happens in relationship to others. It's all about love. I want to draw a line for you here between money, sex, and power and the sacredness that is spirit. Did you hear Reverend Shannon's talk a couple of weeks ago when she so beautifully spoke about reclaiming the word God, or whatever the words are that trigger you, push your buttons? Well, if you haven't heard it yet, I highly encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and look up Reclaiming That Three-Letter Word. It's a fantastic talk. And while you're there, while you're listening to this talk, I invite you to not only think about your thoughts and feelings about the word God, but think about power. Brian Harris just taught us that there is one power in and through and as everything, including you and in me, one power. Whatever name you give it, there's one power. If you have any stuff around the word power, then you have stuff with God. There can't be one power that is God, that is in you, that is living you. You can't be that and be afraid of power at the same time. Take a breath. When I'm teaching classes or workshops about money, every single time, people come in with dueling beliefs. On the one hand, they deeply believe they want more money. They want wealth, whatever wealth means to them. They want more. On the other hand, they often have these ideas about people who already have more, that these people are greedy or they're destroying the earth or that money is the root of evil or all kinds of thoughts and judgments about the 1%, right? Here's the thing. You join a class because you want more prosperity, whatever that more means for you, but you despise those who have more. Do you see the conflict that you're setting up for yourself? We have a saying around here that the universe always says yes. What is the universe supposed to say yes to? Right? If you believe that you are a good person, most people have an inherent belief that they are good people. If you believe that and you believe that people with money are bad, you can't have money. Right? Because your concept of yourself is what is directing your financial journey. This kind of confusion, by the way, is A, very common, B, completely understandable, and C, super detrimental to building a healthy financial life. You cannot desire more money and despise those who have more money at the same time. In the same way, you cannot wish to empower yourself and despise those who are in power at the same time. Now, I want to be very, very clear. Is there systemic abuse of power in our world that we all are working to dismantle? Yes, absolutely. And that is not the conversation we're having here today. Today, we're talking about personal power, personal empowerment. So, the takeaway here is you cannot claim your own power until you are willing to be powerful, to be one of those people, until you can identify as powerful. What this means is whatever stuff you have about power, about people in power, whatever that stuff is, you get to stop projecting that out here and you get to start doing your work in here. Befriend the concept of power. Ernest Holmes said, always remember this. Life is from within outward and never from without inward. You are the center of power in your own life. You are the center of power in your own life. So in order to regain mastery over your life, in order to be that center of power in your own life, all you have to do is do some work around your beliefs around power. How do we do this? Off the top of my head, you can add a time of contemplation to your spiritual practice for a month. Just think about the word power. See what comes up for you. Journal about that. Think about people in your life who you perceive as powerful. Think about people in your life who you perceive as powerless. What is that about? What in you is projecting that onto the people around you, right? You get to do your own work. Here's one. Remember times in your life when you felt powerful. Remember times in your life when you felt powerless. Tell those stories one more time. One more time. Tell it to a therapist or a practitioner or a good friend over a cup of tea. Tell that story and then ask yourself, if you have a story of powerlessness in your life, ask yourself this question. Does having this experience with this person make it true of all people? Have you told yourself a story that all powerful people are bad because one powerful person hurt you? That's something we humans do. I learned that that's not a Shelly condition, that's a human condition, so I thought it might be your condition too sometimes. I call it catastrophizing, right? One bad thing happens, and I suddenly give that meaning to a whole swath of things. I catastrophize it, right? Don't we do that as humans? And it's okay. But what that does is that keeps us in a place of disempowerment. It's interesting to me how our experience of life gets warped through the lens of our stories. The Bulgarian writer Maria Popova said, the stories we tell ourselves about our public past shape how we interpret and respond to and show up for the present. The stories we tell ourselves about our private past shape how we come to see our personhood and who we ultimately become. The thin line between agency and victimhood is drawn in how we tell those stories. The line between agency and victimhood is drawn by how we tell our stories about the past. And that line has a name, and it's empowerment. And always, not always, but often, that lack of empowerment stems from the story we're telling ourselves about a situation. I can't tell you how many times I have felt powerless in a situation, and I have gone to someone and said, I don't know what to do here. And they have said, okay, give me 3 ideas of what you could do. And when you suddenly are looking for where you are empowered, that powerlessness dissipates. It depends on what story you're telling yourself. We are right smack dab in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month, or Latinx Heritage Month, as some are beginning to call it. And I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you a little story about one of my very favorite writers. His name was Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Some of you are already nodding. Your favorite too, huh? This Colombian journalist and writer was one of the most influential writers of the 20th century, a Nobel Prize winner for literature, who wrote Love in the Time of Cholera, yes, and 100 Years of Solitude, and so much more. He was such a true genius of a man. He wrote magical realism, and it is incredible. If you haven't read any of his books, I recommend it. In 2003, he wrote a piece for The New Yorker in which he told the tale of the time when he published his first story. At the time, he was an impoverished student, and he had just read Kafka's The Metamorphosis for the first time. Do you remember reading The Metamorphosis for the first time? It's mind-blowing in every way. So Marquez sat down and poured his heart and soul into writing a story that was really an imitation of it, as a way of honoring Kafka, right? And being a young student, he takes his story and he trots on down to the newspaper office and puts the envelope on the desk and runs away and thinks, let's see if it gets published. And it did. And I want to read you in his words. I've edited it down a little bit, but I want to read you in his words what he said about that experience. He said, and so I read my story, my very first story, in print. I read it in a single breath, hiding in my room, my heart pounding. In each line, I discovered the crushing power of print for what I had constructed with so much love and pain as a humble imitation of a universal genius was revealed to me as an obscure, weak monologue, barely sustained by 3 or 4 consolatory sentences. Any writers, musicians, artists in the room can relate to that experience. Yeah. Almost 20 years went by before I dared to read it a second time, and my judgment then, untempered by compassion, was even less indulgent. He said the most difficult thing was the avalanche of friends who invaded my room with copies of the newspaper and glowing praise for a story I was sure they had not understood. Amid my fellow students at the university, some appreciated it, others were puzzled by it, and others, with more reason, did not read past the 4th line. My greatest uneasiness had to do with the verdict of the intellectual Jorge Alvaro Espinosa, whose critical blade was dangerous even beyond our immediate circle. I had contradictory feelings. I wanted to see him right away to resolve my uncertainty once and for all, but at the same time, the idea of facing him terrified me. When I saw him, he began talking to me not about the story, but about my audacity. I suppose you realize the trouble you got yourself into, he said. Now you're in the showcase of recognized writers, and there's a lot you have to do to deserve it. His was almost the only opinion that could affect me, and I was petrified. But before he finished speaking, I decided to preempt him with what I considered then, and have always considered since, to be the truth. That story is terrible. He explained that even if it was as bad as I said, it was not bad enough for me to sacrifice the golden opportunity that life was offering me. In any case, that story already belongs in the past, he said. What matters now is the next one. In any case, that story already belongs in the past. What matters now is the next one. My friends, what if we saw the stories of our life in this way? What if, for every story that is holding us back, for every tale we rehearse in pain, for every single past mistake that we punish ourselves or each other for, what if we were able to come to a place where we are able to say, that story already belongs in the past. What matters now is the next one. This is where the forgiveness work that Reverend Shannon taught us last week is so, so powerful. Remember, she said forgiveness is a courageous act of self-love. Forgiveness is a courageous act of self-love. Forgiveness rewrites the story. It doesn't change what happened, y'all. It changes your experience of what happened. And when you change your experience of what happened, you are suddenly in power. You are suddenly in the driver's seat. That thing that happened no longer happened to you. It happened for you. Forgiveness rewrites the story. Forgiveness puts you in control of your experience of the past. And you get to decide your new ending. How glorious is that? What if you decided to write a new story from a place of empowerment? How do you do that? If I felt empowered, what would I do next? You can't change the past. I remember years ago hearing, and I don't know if Oprah was quoting someone, but I remember Oprah said, forgiveness doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It means giving up the hope that it could have happened differently. So if you give up that hope that it could have happened differently because it didn't, then suddenly you are empowered to decide what it means for you now. And you are empowered to decide what comes next. I want to bring it back by reminding you that power, money, intimate relationships, all of this is inexplicably bound up together. So that means that when you do this work around power, you are setting a standard up here for all of your financial relationships, your intimate relationships will rise up to meet that. How glorious is that? You heal one, you heal them all. Everything will begin to resonate with a new, more empowered you. How glorious is that? That story already belongs in the past. What matters is the one that comes next. Brian, will you come up here for a second? Do you remember? Brian just did this incredible song called One Power. One power. What if you believed that there is one power, that it is everywhere present, that it is the power of love embodied as you, as me? What if you believed that that one infinite power, that you were the focus point of that? That you were the portal for that? That power is living you and breathing you and beating your heart and batting your eyelashes and loving every bit of you at the same time? What if you believed that you were one with power? What would you do? What would you do differently? Who would you love differently? How would you show up to help our brothers and sisters who are in pain differently? I know we have a lot of choir members in here. And I know we have a lot of people who have done this song a lot of times. We're going to sing a little bit more. And this time, as you sing, I'd like for you to allow this message to resonate out of your body, that there is one power, one.
Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power.
Come on, y'all.
One power. One power. One power. One power. One power.
There is one power everywhere present, right where we are. Right where your soul resides, the infinite power of the universe is. And so in this moment, we invite this power, this love, this presence by any name. We invite it to fill us up, to remind us of the truth, and to gently erase the places that are telling a story that just isn't true anymore. There is only one thing being called for here, and it is the remembrance of exactly who and what we are, and that is the infinite love of the divine. And so I speak a word of gratitude for every place on this earth that is celebrating this love this day. Every church, every temple, every ashram, every circle, every center. It is all love coming to know more love, power coming to be more power, a power for good in our lives on this planet. For Hispanic Heritage Month, for Indigenous Peoples Day, for all of it, for all that we are celebrating, all that we are mourning, all that we are reclaiming, I invite power to have a seat at the table. Because along with this power comes grace. For this and so much more, I'm deeply grateful. We let it be. We let it be. Blessed be. And so it is. Thank you.
Yeah, let's keep it going for practitioner Shelly Walker. I love being a part of a church, of a spiritual center where there's no subject that we cannot talk about. And I love that we get to talk about money. I love that we get to talk about sex. I love that we get to talk about these real aspects to our lives and how we can approach them from a place of groundedness and a place of power and a place where every single thing that we take part in as human beings can be a spiritual act. So that's what we're being invited into now as we talk about conscious giving. Every single time we make an investment as we give to a place that has given us something, we're taking part in this divine give and take of the universe itself. So I just invite us, as if we're feeling fed from these messages, from this music, from being a part of this place, whether we're tuning in online or here at the Outdoor Sanctuary, just to allow that to really fill yourself and allow that to be the context and space out of which you're giving and doing your conscious giving practice here today. So I invite you into that space of being filled up and feeling the power in that as we say our offertory blessing here today. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Once again, y'all, Brian Harris.
All right, let's do this. Finding the world in the smallness of a grain of sand, and holding infinities in the palm of your hand, and heaven's realms in the seedlings of a tiny flower, and eternities in the space of a single hour. Send your love into the future. Send your love into the distant dawn. Inside your mind is a relay station, a mission probe into the unknowing. We send a seed to a distant future so we can watch the galaxies growing. This ain't no time for doubting your power. This ain't no time for hiding your care. You're climbing down from the ivory tower. You've got a stake in the world we ought to share. You see the stars are moving so slowly, still the earth is moving so fast. Can't you see the moon is so lonely, still trapped in the pain of the past? This is the time of the worlds colliding. This is the time of the kingdoms falling. This is the time of the worlds dividing. It's time to heed your call. Send your love into the future. Send your precious love into some distant time. Fix that wounded planet with the love of your healing. Send your love, send your love, send your love. There's no religion but sex and music. There's no religion but sound and dancing. There's no religion but light and color. There's no religion, just sacred trance. There's no religion but the endless ocean. There's no religion but the moon and stars. There's no religion, just time and motion. There's no religion, just tribal scars. You throw a pebble in and watch the ocean. You see the ripples vanish in the distance. It's just the same with every emotion. It's just the same in every instance. There's no religion but the joys of rhythm. There's no religion but the rites of spring. There's no religion in the path of hate. No prayer but the one I sing. Send your love into the future. Send your precious love into some distant time. Fix that wounded planet with the love of your healing. Send your love, send your love. There's no religion but sex and music. There's no religion that's right or winning. There's no religion in the path of hate. Ain't no prayer but the one I'm singing. Send your love, send your love, send your love, send your love.
Yes. 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 Thank you, Brian Harris. That song is deep. I don't think there's a lot of lyrics in that.
There's a lot of words in that.
There's so many words in that song that I have never heard before. That song's deep. Thank you, Brian, so much. So, we have so much going on at the center, and I just wanted to give some announcements about some things that are happening right now. Reverend Shannon started her first class last week of Beyond Limits, but we've decided to keep it open, and we've decided to keep it at the early bird pricing, just kind of knowing that, hey, we're still in this crazy pandemic time. And so we want to continue just to offer this price as a gift to you all. So I know, like anytime I've needed a breakthrough, or anytime I was just feeling like something wanted to shift in my life, I always got myself into a class. And so I encourage any and all of you to take this opportunity to get to know some other folks in the community, get some real time with Reverend Shannon, and feel those places within us that are wanting to grow and that are wanting to break through. So you can sign up on our website, newthoughtscsl.org, or go to the tables in the back here right after service if you want to jump right in. Also, every Mondays at 10 a.m., we are still doing Qigong now, at least through October 18th, and while it's still warm enough to do so, I've been able to go to one or two, and it is amazing spiritual practice. So it happens right here, right next to the courtyard out back. Please join us Mondays at 10 a.m. And we're also continuing to take part in the Afghan Refugee Project. So if you want to sign up online, you can do so at newthoughtscsl.org, or we have lists of items that we are continuing to collect for the refugees that are making their way into our state. And lastly, you all can still join the choir, which is being led by our own Elizabeth Harper. And it's happening every Thursday evening from 7:30 to 8:30. It is so, to me, just like a joyful act to sing together. So invite you all to jump into that experience as well. So I'm going to invite practitioner Shelly Walker back up.
Thank you, Ramasando.
Yes.
All right, y'all. We did it. Parents, y'all can pick your children up at the Children's Pavilion up there. Practitioners, would y'all please stand? Hey, if I said anything that challenged you today, if you have anything you would like prayer about, either to anchor a new thought in or to let go an old thought that might not be serving you anymore, I really recommend you just take 2 minutes, stop, pray with a practitioner on your way out. If you are watching us online, go to our website, newthoughtscsl.org, scroll down to the bottom of the page. There's a big box that says prayer requests. Give us a prayer request. Your ministers and practitioners will pray on that all week. You're not in this alone. We've got this together, y'all, and we're going to use the power of prayer to support you. So practitioners are going to head to the back here, those of you who are here in service. Thank you so much. Reverend Sandra?
Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to all of those that are tuning in online today. We got folks from British Columbia, Portland, Eugene, Germany, Colorado, and all over California. The whole West Coast is with us today. So just want to give a shout out to all of you. Hey, Shelly and I, practitioner Shelly and I will be at the back table if you want to come say hi to us afterwards. We kind of have like a mini bookstore going today, y'all, too. So Carolyn will be back there. Come check out the books we have in stock. I know this is cozy book reading season, so nice to get a book in hand again. So I just invite us to stand if we're here in the outdoor sanctuary as we say our closing benediction here together. May you go in the light, as the light, and with the light. And until we meet again, may the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Blessed be. See y'all next week.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle.